Hi friends! Welcome to Manicures and Must-Reads, the channel where I do my nails based on novels. If you have noticed that I sound kind of done today, it's because this video was kind of a train wreck towards the end. And maybe that's because I combined two very difficult nail concepts into one manicure just to capture the epicness of this book. Maybe it's because I was doing the manicure at like 1 o'clock in the morning. The world may never know. So this is called In the Woods by Tana French. It's literally such a good book. She is an Irish mystery writer. Guys, an Irish mystery writer. That's like the coolest combination of things that you can possibly get. She writes exquisitely. Ugh, I can't even describe this book. It's so amazing. Go read my book review because you need to hear how amazing it is, both on an emotional and literal playing field. So, the cover of this book is really cool. It's kind of a minimalist tree root type thing, going with the In the Woods theme, so I like it a lot. And we're gonna try and do kind of a reverse of this pattern on our nails. So, you'll see. We're just gonna go with it. Let's get started, friends. So here are my nails. As I said in my first video, my left hand nails are pretty short and stubby because I do play guitar, banjo, and ukulele, so I need them super short so that I can actually play them. And my right hand nails are pretty long because I think they look prettier that way. And it actually kinda helps me relate to all of you nail painting people out there because I have to do nails for both short and long nails. So no matter what you have, you can adapt any of my nail looks based on the length of your nails because I have both lengths, guys. Living the dream. So as usual, I am using Unt nail lacquer ready for takeoff, peel off base coat. It's a really great base coat because you can just take off your manicure without nail polish remover. But if you want it to last longer, I'd recommend using a high quality base coat like Such a Vite. So just paint your lovely base coat on your lovely nails. So now, the way I'm going to adapt the book cover to go on my nails is I'm going to kind of invert the colors because that always looks cooler when you're holding your nails up to the book cover. So since the background is white and the tree roots are a gradient, I'm going to do a gradient as the background and then white tree roots. So for the gradient, we are going to be using two colors. They're both by Sally Hansen Hard as Nails Extreme Wear. We're going to start by painting all of your nails with this Green with Envy color. It's number 2. And that'll just kind of help the gradient actually stick to your nails. Because if you just go straight in with the gradient, it'll look something like this, where the polish doesn't really stick to anything but your skin. So just paint Green with Envy all over your nails. Gotta love that name, guys. I mean, come on. Nail polish names are the best. It is literally my dream job to be the person who comes up with nail polish names. So now we're going to be doing a gradient. If you've never done a gradient, it's the messiest thing ever. Thank goodness we have Bliskus Simply Peel, which is a latex barrier that you paint around your cuticles and just peel it off once you're done your manicure so that you don't have to take nail polish remover and a Q-tip and get in all the little nooks and crannies where you got nail polish on your skin. The best way to go about doing a gradient is to do one hand at a time. So you're going to want to paint your Simply Peel on the hand you're doing the gradient on first. Don't paint it on your other hand because holding the sponge, you might get the Simply Peel stuck to the sponge, stuck to the other fingers with Simply Peel, and it'll be a big old mess. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to start with the gradient. So we need two colors to make it actually blend from one color to another. So we're going to be using that Green with Envy again, and we're also going to be using Blackout, shade number 370. So if you've never done a gradient before, all you're doing is taking a basic makeup sponge and painting two different colors as close to each other as you can get without combining them, so that whenever you put it on your nail, they'll just kind of meld from one color to the other in like a nice gradual change. At first, a lot of the nail polish is just going to absorb straight into the sponge. Don't worry, just keep painting it until you see like a nice thick layer on top, and then you can start putting it on your nail. Now you don't want to just dab it on your nail because the paint will just kind of smush everywhere, but you want to roll it from one side of your nail to the other, as you can see here in this angle. And whenever you load up your sponge, you'll probably have enough paint to go over a few nails at a time, so just kind of go over one a few times, go over the next one and the next one until you can see the colors starting to die out, and then reapply paint and do it all over again until you're satisfied with the gradient on all of your nails. So here's the look. I'm happy with all of the gradients. They all go from black to green in a really nice little variation. So now comes the fun part, ripping off that Simply Peel so that you don't have all of that crusty paint around your nails. It probably won't all come off in one go simply because it has a ton of paint on it, but that's alright. Just kind of work as much as you need to get all the Simply Peel off, and then we'll take some acetone and a cleanup brush and get the rest. So here's what we have. There's still a few paint flecks everywhere, so we're just gonna take some acetone and a cleanup brush. I'm using this one from Twinkle Tea. It's super pretty with its Swarovski crystals, and the brush is a very nice texture and size. Usually I use size number 6. Today I'm using size number 12 because we do have a lot more to get off of our nails than usual, so a bigger brush is helpful. So here's the finished gradient after cleaning up your cuticles. They look really awesome, so it is time to move on with the tree branch root design. It's not crucial, but we're going to use a top coat to seal in what we have so far so we don't mess it up doing the rest of the design. So just use a top coat, something high quality like such a Vite is what I prefer. You may have seen me use this Simply Neat Miracle Mat to do my nails on in all of my videos. I like doing my nails on it because it's easy to clean up and it has a cool like silicone type texture. So it's going to come in handy for this design because we're basically going to make stickers on it that we can just peel off and then put on our nails. This is a really helpful technique if you're not great at painting under the pressure and stress of having to do it perfectly on your actual nail. If you're making like a sticker on a mat like this, then you can just paint it on the mat and then peel it off and put it on your nail. And if you don't like how it turned out, you can just make another one instead of taking off all of the polish on your nail. Because we're going to be drawing white branches, I'm going to try and draw them on the black portion of the mat. If you're doing it yourself, you can see the white over the white part of the mat, but it's easier to show on camera over the black, so that's what I'm going to do. Also, if you've ever wondered what is under my mat, it is a retro Coca-Cola tray that you're supposed to carry lemonade on or something to a picnic, but I use it to put my miracle mat on and do my nails. So here's the book cover again. We're going to be trying to replicate these tree branches. They just kind of stem off, and we're just going to kind of draw one main branch and then a bunch of little branches coming off of that one. As you can see, we already have our gradient matching the gradient of the branches, so we're going to invert the colors and do white branches over our gradient. So to be able to peel the stickers up off of the mat, you have to have them on a clear base so that you can peel it up, and then once it's on your nails, the clear just melts into your actual nail, so all you see is the design on top. So I'm going to use a clear polish, not a top coat, because top coat's more high quality. For this, you really just need something cheap. So I'm using Sinful Colors because you can get them at the grocery store for about $1. And basically we're just going to paint 2 coats of our clear polish in little patches all over the mat. Depending on how big your nails are, that's how big you want to make the patch. Don't try and match the size to the size of your nail. make it a little bit bigger so that you have some extra, because you can always cut it down if it's too big. You would have to make a new one if it's too small. Also, I am using my phone flashlight to illuminate my mat because this is a high quality production and I wanted you to be able to see the clear polish going onto the mat. Next we're going to be drawing the branches, so I'm using Americana acrylic paint in Snow Titanium White. I'm also using this super small brush. It is the Low Cornell Soft Comfort Spotter, size 18/0. It really comes in handy when you're doing very thin designs. So just take your paint, draw some branches, and then draw some little teeny branches coming off of the main one, and little teeny branches off to the sides of that one. You just want them to kind of streak along like the roots of a tree would grow, or like the branches would grow, and try and get the tips as pointy as you can. It helps if you have a thinner brush. My brush is kind of old, so the tip is a little bit raggedy, so I had to really work to get the tips of the branches to be pointed, but you'll get the hang of it, and if you mess up, it's not on your nail yet, so you can always just paint another clear patch and do a different sticker. I usually start with about 12 or 15 clear patches on my mat to begin with. That way I can make more than I need and then pick the best ones of those. Also, if you have short nails, you're going to want to make your branches a little bit smaller so that you can actually see them. With bigger nails, you can afford to make a bigger branch and little branches coming off of that. But with a small nail, you need your branches to be really thin so that you can actually get the effect. So here is my miracle mat with all of the different little stickers. I made more than I needed so that I could choose which ones I wanted, and now it's time to just peel them up and put them on your nails. So basically I'm just taking some tweezers, and you're just going to kind of pull up the edge as carefully as you can. If you rip the clear part, that's fine because you can just patch it over your nail. But if you aren't able to pull it up well with the tweezers, then I recommend using either a toothpick or one of those orange sticks which has the flat edge. Those are super helpful for pulling up the side. Once you get most of the sides pulled up, then I recommend using your fingers to pull up the rest of the way so that you don't risk stretching it out or ripping it as you pull it off the mat. So to place the sticker on your nail, you're going to paint a clear coat. You can either use the clear polish or a top coat. I'd recommend a top coat because it's more durable. And before it's dry, you're just going to place the sticker however you want on your nail. Just kind of line it up. I'm putting the branches so that they're facing out. And just kind of pat it all around your nail. Be careful not to smudge it because the polish underneath is wet and it will absorb into the sticker. So if you press on it too hard, it'll get all gummy and you'll smudge up your design. Then if you want, you can trim off the excess off the sides with a pair of scissors. I'm using a very small pair of scissors to cut them, but I don't always cut them. Sometimes I just use acetone to melt the extra off the sides, which you'll see me do in a little bit. So now as you can see, we have a little bit of overhang on all of our nails. Whether you cut it with a scissor or not, you're still going to need to melt off that extra. So I'm taking a little cup with acetone and a cleanup brush, the same one I used earlier, and we are just going to melt off the extra. If you have long or short nails, you're definitely going to want to wrap it under the tip. It's a little more difficult with short nails, but it just kind of helps to anchor the design in place and make it part of the rest of your nail polish, as opposed to just a layer on top of everything. And this, friends, is where tragedy strikes. I am a clumsy sort of person, and I don't remember what I was doing or what I was reaching for, but somehow, in the process of removing the excess polish from around my nail, I managed to knock over the cup of acetone, thus spilling it onto my miracle mat, where the poor, unsuspecting stickers that were to go on my other hand were still stuck to the mat, and thus dissolving them in the cruel acetone. Let's just watch in silence as my life crumbles apart at 1:30 in the morning. So yeah. Luckily, it didn't actually destroy the stickers. I thought it did, and I was quite upset for a few minutes, but then I realized I was able to salvage them. They were a little wonky and wrinkly, as you can see in this picture I took to send to my friend in sadness. But they weren't so messed up that I couldn't still put them on my nails. So, I salvaged my manicure, but my camera died whilst I was trying to clean up all of the acetone that had spilled. So I didn't exactly get the rest of this manicure. But you saw all that you needed to. The only thing you missed was me putting on a top coat at the end, which I think you all know how to put on a top coat. I trust in your abilities. So after I put on a top coat, this is the final look. You might still have some shininess around your cuticles. That's just from melting that extra polish off. It does leave a little bit of a residue, but it'll come off when you wash your hands, so don't worry about it. I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it was a little bit of a train wreck. I love this book so much, so it kind of makes me sad that I messed up at the end of the video, but I think the manicure turned out really great. It looks very cool the way the colors are inverted, and we have all those tree branches just like the woodsy cover. If you haven't read In the Woods by Tana French, I recommend you go read it right now. It is a really good book. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. It does involve a murder and some pretty gruesome details, so if you don't like that kind of thing, then never mind, don't read it. Just go read my book review of it, which is up on my blog and on Wattpad right now. Also, if you haven't checked out all of my other videos, go check them out and subscribe to this channel. Also, I have a Pinterest and an Instagram, so you can go follow them as well. I post pictures occasionally, and I update my story on Instagram fairly regularly, with guest stars like my pets, my dog Nigel, and my beta fish Richmond. So if you want to see their cuteness, then definitely check out my Instagram, which they frequent regularly. I will see you in my next video. I usually post a book review one week and then a nail polish tutorial the next week, but this upcoming week I will be posting a different sort of video because I went impulse shopping and I bought a mystery box. So I am going to be posting a video of me opening it, so stay tuned for that. I also have a guest star in that video, so take a guess who you think it is. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week. Bye! Try